Okay, here we go. One last lesson. Ooh, just a second. All right, now we're rolling. So let's look at a problem like this. Let's say we have cosine of x over cosine of x plus 1 equals secant of x minus 1 over tangent squared of x. All right. So when you see addition down here and subtraction up here, you'll have to think conjugates. Okay? You got to think conjugates. So if we're thinking conjugates, I got to think the conjugate of the cosine of x plus 1. What's the conjugate of the cosine of x plus 1? What do you think the conjugate of the cosine of x plus 1 is? Cosine of x minus 1. So I'll multiply the top and bottom by cosine of x minus 1. See how all of a sudden a subtraction problem is created in the numerator. We now have the subtraction in the numerator. That's what we want. So if I'm not going to distribute in the numerator, I'm going to leave it separated for right now. Cosine of x times cosine of x minus 1. In my denominator, I'm going to FOIL that. What's cosine to cosine? Cosine squared of x. When I multiply by conjugates, I get rid of the middle terms because cosine of x plus negative cosine of x cancels. So I get cosine squared of x minus 1. What's cosine squared of x minus 1 equal to? What's cosine squared of x minus 1 equal to? Negative sine squared of x, right? Hopefully I wrote down this problem right. I think I did. Okay. Now, next step. In the end, I have tangent squared on the right-hand side on the denominator. Tangent squared is what squared over what squared? Sine squared over cosine squared. So what I'm going to have to do is multiply this by 1 over cosine squared here. So I'll multiply the top times 1 over cosine squared. Okay. What happens on the top is this cosine and one of these cosines cancel. So I have cosine of x minus 1 over negative tangent squared of x. Oh, wait, whoop, nope. Cosine of x minus 1 over cosine of x over negative tangent squared of x. That's what I have. Okay. Now what? I'm close, but I'm not there. In my numerator, I can separate this into two separate fractions. My first fraction is going to be cosine of x over cosine of x. What's my second fraction going to be? 1 over cosine of x. See how I took this and separated it into two fractions? What's cosine of x over cosine of x? What's cosine of x over cosine of x? 1. What's 1 over cosine of x equal to? What's 1 over cosine of x? Secant of x. I'm really close now. Now what do I have to do to make them look alike? Multiply the top and bottom by -1. Take the top by -1 and the bottom by -1. Taking the bottom by -1 gives me a positive tangent squared of x. The top times -1 gives me -1 plus secant squared secant of x, or secant of x plus -1. And I got there. It only took me that many steps. Yeah. Some of these take quite a few steps. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. One more? Okay. I have subtraction in the denominator here. I have addition in the numerator here. So I have to think conjugate. So I have secant x minus tangent of x. So I'm going to take it times secant of x plus tangent of x. I'm not going to change it to sines and cosines yet. I'm going to see where this gets me first. So in my numerator here, I have secant of x plus tangent of x. My denominator, what am I going to have? You guys are too full of sugar. Secant times secant is secant squared of x. Outers and inners are going to cancel. Tangent times tangent is tangent squared of x. From your Pythagorean identity, what's secant squared minus tangent squared? Secant squared equals tangent squared plus 1, right? So if we subtracted tangent squared from each side, what's secant squared minus tangent squared? 1. So I have secant of x plus tangent of x over 1. But I'm not done yet. This side is 1 plus sine of x over cosine. This is secant of x plus tangent of x over 1. How do I rewrite secant of x into sines and cosines? 1 over cosine of x. What is tangent? Sine over cosine. One plus sine over cosine. All right, so last one on page 172. Numbers 58, 61, and 63. Only 3 problems to do. And that's it. Then you guys can catch up with your lives.